Rude people. They seem to be everywhere, ready to test your patience, push your buttons, and drag you into pointless arguments. But what if you could dominate every rude encounter with calm, confidence, and unshakable control? Welcome to Stoic Wisdom GB, where we dive into ancient Stoic teachings that help you navigate life's toughest interactions. Today we're exploring Stoic ways to dominate rude people and win arguments, not by shouting louder, but by staying cool, composed, and completely in control. The Stoics believed that true power doesn't come from overpowering others, but from mastering yourself. In every argument, the calmest person in the room has the most control. In this video, we'll reveal Stoic techniques that will help you stay unshaken in the face of rudeness, deflect hostility with wisdom, and turn every argument into an opportunity to grow stronger. Have you ever walked away from an argument feeling drained or wished you'd handled a rude comment better? Stick around, because today we're unlocking the Stoic secrets that will teach you how to turn every rude interaction into a moment of mastery. No anger, no stress, just pure control. Before we dive in, make sure to like this video, share it with someone who's tired of dealing with rudeness, and subscribe to our channel, Stoic Wisdom GB. Your support helps us continue to bring you practical Stoic insights to handle life's challenges with strength and wisdom. Let's jump into these Stoic ways to dominate rude people in arguments. Lesson 1. Mastering the art of Stoic silence. Have you ever considered that sometimes saying nothing at all can be the most powerful response? In the throes of rudeness and heated arguments, the Stoics, like Marcus Aurelius and Epictetus, prized the profound strength of silence. This lesson delves into how this ancient philosophy teaches us to use silence, not as a weapon, but as a dignified tool for maintaining control and composure in confrontational or challenging interactions. It is an exploration of restraint that can elevate our everyday interactions. Why are we often compelled to respond to every slight or rude remark? Stoic philosophy teaches the mastery of one's reactions as a form of personal power. Marcus Aurelius and Epictetus suggest that silence can often communicate more effectively than a hurried, emotional response. Silence doesn't just fill the air, it forces the other person to reflect on their words, presenting a level of self-control that can disarm an aggressor and shift the dynamic of the interaction. This subtle mastery shows strength rather than weakness, power rather than passivity. How can silence serve as a control mechanism in conversations? Opting not to react immediately to provocations allows us to take control of the conversation's pace and direction. This pause can unsettle the other person, as they grapple with the anticipation of a reaction that never arrives. By controlling the space of dialogue through our silence, we assert dominance in the interaction, maintaining our composure and subtly prompting the other person to confront their own impulsive behavior. What happens within us when we choose silence over retaliation? Choosing to remain silent allows us to step back internally and assess the situation with clarity and rationality, embracing true Stoic form. This moment of introspection is crucial. It helps us detach from the heat of the moment and evaluate our next steps with a cool head. Practicing silence is essentially practicing self-mastery. It's about calming the internal storm before it manifests outwardly. Can silence truly reflect the character of the other person? When we respond to rudeness or aggression with silence, we effectively hold up a mirror to the aggressor. Their words and actions, unmet by the reaction they might expect, often echo back to them. This can lead to a moment of self-awareness and possibly regret or embarrassment as they hear the harshness of their own words without the buffer of a response. This lack of engagement can rob them of the conflict they seek and force a contemplation of their behavior. How do Stoic teachings amplify the effectiveness of silence? Stoicism teaches that we should not be swayed by external events, but should focus on our internal responses. By adopting silence, we align ourselves with the idea that our peace should not be disturbed by external chaos. This alignment with Stoic principles not only strengthens our resolve, but also deepens our understanding of Stoic practice in daily life. How do we practically apply Stoic silence in everyday life? Implement what is known as the Stoic pause. When faced with rudeness or confrontation, Instead of reacting, take a deep breath and count to 10 silently. This brief pause gives you a moment to collect your thoughts, regulate your emotions, and assess whether a response is necessary. Often, you'll find that silence itself serves as the most eloquent and effective reply. This method not only preserves your peace, but also puts you in a position of strength, where your silence can speak volumes more than hurried words ever could. How can we integrate this practice of silence into our daily interactions? Begin by observing your instinctual responses in conversations that trigger a defensive or aggressive reaction. Each time, consciously choose to employ the Stoic pause, evaluating the necessity and potential impact of your words before you speak. This habit not only refines your communication skills but also makes you a more deliberate, thoughtful participant in your relationships, whether personal or professional. Why let the impulsiveness of others dictate your emotional landscape? Embracing Stoic silence is not about suppressing your voice, but about strategically choosing when and how to use it. By mastering the art of silence, you command over the situation, conserve your energy for matters truly deserving of your attention, and maintain your inner peace. This lesson from Stoic philosophy not only equips us to handle rude people and arguments effectively, but also enhances our overall resilience, teaching us the profound power of restraint and the dignity of quiet strength. Through silence, we find not weakness, but a formidable force of character and composure. Lesson 2. The Stoic reversal. Mastering arguments by using their words against them. Have you ever felt overwhelmed in an argument, struggling to make your point heard over someone's rude or aggressive behavior? How often do we find ourselves replaying a conversation in our minds, wishing we had responded differently? Stoicism offers a powerful technique known as the Stoic reversal, where you use the other person's words to strengthen your argument and establish control over the dialogue. This lesson delves into how we can turn the tables in heated discussions, not through hostility, but through a calculated use of the opponent's own rhetoric. What exactly is the Stoic reversal? This technique involves carefully listening to your opponent's arguments and using those same arguments to highlight flaws in their reasoning or to strengthen your own position. It's about being so attuned to the dialogue that you can catch inconsistencies or overstatements and reflect them back to expose their weaknesses. This method does not just disarm the other person, but also showcases your mastery over the art of debate, aligning with Stoic ideals of wisdom and virtue. Why is active listening crucial in using someone's words against them? In the heat of an argument, people often focus more on responding than on understanding what's being said. Stoics emphasize the importance of listening as a tool for gaining insight into the other person's mindset. By paying close attention, you not only grasp the full scope of their argument, but also identify key phrases or contradictions that can be used to your advantage. This level of engagement demonstrates control and composure, essential traits of a skilled Stoic negotiator. How do we craft responses that effectively use the opponent's words against them? Once you've identified weaknesses or exploitable aspects in your opponent's argument, the next step is to formulate a response that is both precise and impactful. This involves using a calm and measured tone to articulate how their statements may contradict each other or fail to address the core issue. Phrasing such as, "Earlier, you mentioned X, which seems at odds with what you're saying now about Y," can be particularly effective. This not only highlights the inconsistencies, but also keeps the discussion grounded in the opponent's original terms. What role does emotional control play in the Stoic reversal? Stoicism teaches the suppression of destructive emotions, not as a denial of feeling, but as a strategy for maintaining rational thought. In arguments, this means not allowing frustration, anger, or desperation to cloud your judgment. By maintaining a calm demeanor, you can more effectively use your opponent's words against them without coming across as aggressive or vindictive. This emotional distance allows you to remain focused and persuasive, turning the emotional energy of the argument in your favor. How can we practice the Stoic reversal in everyday interactions? Begin by adopting what could be called the Stoic counter, where you deliberately pause before responding in a debate or argument. Use this pause to analyze what has been said and plan your response. Practicing this in low-stakes situations will help you refine your ability to detect subtleties in dialogue and respond with strategic precision. Over time, this practice will become second nature, enhancing your ability to conduct powerful reversals in more critical or professional settings. Why let aggressive or flawed arguments dictate the terms of a discussion? By mastering the Stoic reversal, you not only defend your positions more effectively, but also lead the conversation with a calm and authoritative presence. This technique is not about defeating others with cunning, but about elevating the quality of discourse and promoting clarity and truth. Through the disciplined use of this strategy, you embody the Stoic virtues of wisdom and courage, turning every argument into an opportunity for personal and philosophical growth. Lesson 3. The Stoic rebuttal. Mastering counterarguments with precision. How can one turn the tide of an argument with just a few well-placed words? Stoicism, with its emphasis on rational thought and emotional control, teaches us the art of the Stoic rebuttal, a method to counter opposing arguments effectively and gracefully. This lesson delves into the strategic use of precision and grace in formulating counterarguments, ensuring that you not only respond effectively, but also enhance your credibility and influence within the debate. By mastering this technique, you can confidently address any challenge and maintain dominance in discussions. Why is mastering counterarguments crucial in debates? In any argument, anticipating and effectively responding to opposition is key to maintaining control of the discourse. A well-crafted counterargument demonstrates your comprehensive understanding of the topic, as well as your ability to think critically about different perspectives. It involves dissecting an opponent's logic, identifying weaknesses, and responding with arguments that are not only strong in content, but also respectful and measured in delivery. This approach not only undermines the opposing position, but also strengthens your standing as a thoughtful and well-prepared debater. How does precision enhance the effectiveness of counterarguments? Precision in argumentation means using exactly the right words at the right time to convey your point clearly and forcefully. In the context of Stoic rebuttals, it involves crafting responses that directly address the core issues raised by opponents without veering into irrelevancies or emotional tangents. By focusing on the specifics of the argument and avoiding broad generalizations, you can dismantle an opponent's position piece by piece, leaving little room for further dispute. What does it mean to employ grace in your rebuttals? Grace in arguments refers to responding with dignity and respect, regardless of the provocations you might face. It's about maintaining a calm and composed demeanor, which not only keeps the discussion civil but also positions you as a mature and respectable figure. Employing grace means articulating your counter-arguments in a way that respects your opponent's perspective, yet firmly reinforces your stance. This balance is crucial in ensuring that the debate remains productive and that your points are received with the consideration they deserve. Why is the strategic use of evidence and examples pivotal in constructing Stoic rebuttals? Effective counter-arguments are supported by solid evidence and relevant examples that reinforce the validity of your points. In Stoic rebuttals, using data, quotations, historical precedents, or hypothetical scenarios can significantly bolster your position. This not only illustrates the depth of your knowledge but also makes your arguments more tangible and relatable to the audience, thereby enhancing their persuasive power. How does maintaining emotional equilibrium contribute to the power of your counter-arguments? Stoicism teaches the importance of emotional control in all aspects of life, including argumentation. In debates, keeping your emotions in check prevents you from making impulsive remarks that could weaken your position. It also helps you to think more clearly and respond more strategically. Emotional equilibrium ensures that your rebuttals are driven by logic and reason rather than defensive or aggressive instincts, which enhances your credibility and persuasiveness. Why just respond when you can dominate with your rebuttals? The art of the Stoic rebuttal is about combining knowledge, precision, and emotional intelligence to turn counter-arguments into opportunities for showcasing your argumentative prowess. Through the practices outlined in this lesson, you can ensure that your interventions in debates are not only effective, but also respected and remembered. Embrace these principles to transform every counter-argument into a testament to your Stoic wisdom and debating skill. Lesson 4. The Stoic Disarmament, neutralizing opposition in arguments with calm and clarity. How can we transform potential conflicts into opportunities for consensus and understanding? Stoicism teaches us that the key to disarming people in arguments is not through force or cunning, but through calm, clarity, and strategic reasoning. This lesson explores the Stoic approach to neutralizing opposition in discussions, ensuring that you not only diffuse potential conflicts, but also lead conversations toward productive outcomes. By embracing Stoic principles, we can approach arguments not as battles to be won, but as chances for mutual understanding and growth. Why is clarity a vital tool in disarming an opponent? In the realm of debate, clarity involves more than just being understood. It means articulating your points in a way that is both accessible and compelling to your audience. Stoics prioritize clear communication because it leaves little room for misinterpretation and manipulation by others. When your arguments are clear, they become easier for others to accept, even if they initially disagree. Moreover, clear reasoning can highlight the weaknesses in your opponent's arguments without the need for direct confrontation, subtly guiding the discussion in your favor. How does maintaining calm provide a strategic advantage in disarming opposition? Stoicism teaches that calmness is not merely a state of mind, but a powerful instrument in negotiations and discussions. By remaining calm, you project confidence and control, which can be disconcerting to an opponent who expects emotional reactions. A calm demeanor suggests that you are thinking logically and not reacting impulsively, encouraging your opponent to engage more thoughtfully. This can shift the dynamic of the argument, making it less about winning and more about understanding, thus reducing the defensive posture of your opponent. What questioning techniques can effectively disarm an opponent? Strategic questioning is a method where you use carefully crafted questions to guide the argument, reveal the assumptions underlying your opponent's statements, and gently expose any flaws in their logic. This approach encourages your opponent to consider their position critically and can lead them to self-reflect rather than defend their stance blindly. By asking insightful questions such as, "Could you explain why you think that way?" or "What evidence supports your view?" you foster a more open dialogue that can disarm aggressive stances and lead to more reasoned exchanges. How does reframing the argument contribute to disarming your opponent? Reframing involves altering the perspective of the discussion and shifting the focus from points of contention to areas of agreement or shared interest. By changing the narrative, you can align your opponent's thinking with yours, creating a sense of common ground. This technique not only softens opposition, but also enhances cooperation, making it easier to navigate through contentious issues without escalating the argument. It's about finding and emphasizing values and goals that both parties can agree on, which reduces resistance and opens up pathways to consensus. Why is empathy an effective tool in disarming others during arguments? Stoicism may seem to emphasize emotional detachment, but it also promotes deep understanding and empathy towards others' viewpoints. By genuinely trying to understand where your opponent is coming from, you can address their concerns more effectively and mitigate their defensiveness. Empathy allows you to see the emotional or logical needs that drive your opponent's arguments and offer solutions that satisfy those needs. This approach not only disarms the opponent but also builds respect and potentially transforms adversaries into allies. Why engage in destructive arguments when you can disarm and build bridges instead? The Stoic method of disarming opponents in arguments through clarity, calm, strategic questioning, reframing, and empathy reflects a profound understanding of human nature and interaction. These techniques not only prevent conflicts, but also foster a constructive dialogue that can lead to meaningful and mutually beneficial outcomes. By adopting these Stoic strategies, you position yourself as a thoughtful and effective communicator, capable of turning potential confrontations into opportunities for collaboration and insight. Lesson 5. The Stoic Assertiveness, ensuring victory in arguments through strategic assertion. How do we assert ourselves in arguments to guarantee not just participation, but dominance? Stoicism offers invaluable guidance on employing assertiveness strategically to command and control the direction and outcome of debates. This lesson will delve into how embracing Stoic virtues such as courage, temperance, and wisdom allows you to assert yourself in ways that not only enhance the persuasiveness of your arguments, but also ensure their dominance over opposing views. By mastering Stoic assertiveness, you position yourself as a leader in discussions, influencing outcomes with precision and authority. What does Stoic assertiveness entail, and why is it effective in arguments? Unlike aggressive confrontation, Stoic assertiveness combines confidence with reason and ethical consideration. It involves stating your views clearly and firmly, without encroaching on the rights and views of others. This approach is rooted in the Stoic principle that true power comes from internal control and rational expression. By asserting your points assertively, you communicate not only the validity of your arguments but also your respect for the structure and rules of engagement, which positions you as a credible and respected participant in any debate. How can Stoic wisdom enhance your confidence in arguments? Confidence in debate stems from a deep understanding of your topic and the philosophical principles that support your views. Stoics emphasize the importance of preparation, not just in terms of gathering information, but also in mentally rehearsing your arguments and anticipating counterarguments. This preparation, infused with Stoic wisdom about human behavior and logical reasoning, breeds a type of confidence that is unshakable because it is based on knowledge and understanding, rather than mere bravado. What role does timing play in asserting dominance in arguments? In Stoicism, the art of timing, knowing when to speak and when to hold back, is as crucial as what you say. Strategic timing can amplify the impact of your assertions, allowing your points to resonate more powerfully within the context of the argument. This involves not only choosing the right moment to introduce your strongest arguments, but also recognizing when an opponent's vulnerability presents an opportunity for a decisive intervention. Effective timing, guided by Stoic principles, ensures that your assertions are not just heard but felt, compelling others to acknowledge their force. How does maintaining rational composure contribute to dominating arguments? Stoic assertiveness is not about emotional reactivity, it's about composed, rational interaction. Maintaining a calm demeanor when presenting your arguments helps to keep the focus on the content of what you are saying, rather than how you are saying it. This composure prevents the discussion from devolving into emotional chaos and keeps you in control of the discourse. It also intimidates less composed opponents as they struggle to match your level of calm, undermining their confidence and elevating your standing in the argument. How do you leverage logical strength to assert dominance? Stoic assertiveness relies heavily on the strength of your logic. Each point must be logically sound, clearly articulated, and sequentially aligned with your overall argumentative strategy. This logical rigor makes it difficult for opponents to find cracks to exploit and forces them to engage with your argument on its merits, rather than on superficial aspects. It also ensures that your assertions carry the weight of reasoned analysis, making them more persuasive and authoritative. Why merely engage when you can steer and dominate discussions? Asserting yourself in arguments using Stoic principles allows you to influence the flow of dialogue and assert control over the outcomes. This lesson in Stoic assertiveness is not just about arguing effectively, it's about transforming your interactions into opportunities for leadership and influence. By employing the strategies of confidence, timing, composure, and logical strength, you ensure that your voice is not just another in the conversation but the guiding force that leads it. Lesson 6. The Stoic Persuader. Achieving Dominance. How can you achieve persuasive dominance in arguments while maintaining ethical integrity? Stoicism provides a framework for persuasive dominance that emphasizes logic, ethics, and emotional intelligence. This lesson explores how to apply Stoic principles to not only influence outcomes in your favor, but also ensure that the methods by which you dominate debates are respected and admired. By mastering Stoic persuasion, you can transform contentious interactions into opportunities for consensus and enlightenment, steering discussions with confidence and moral clarity. Why is the ethical component of persuasion so crucial in Stoic philosophy? Stoics believe that the true measure of persuasive dominance lies not only in the ability to win arguments, but also in the capacity to uphold and propagate virtues such as honesty, fairness, and respect. Persuading with ethics means your arguments are not only effective, but also just and morally sound. This approach builds trust and credibility, which are essential for long-term influence and respect. By grounding your persuasive techniques in Stoic ethics, you ensure that your dominance in arguments is never at the cost of your principles or your relationships. How does mastering logic enhance your persuasive dominance? Stoicism teaches that the foundation of convincing argumentation is robust, clear logic. A well-constructed logical argument is irrefutable and compels agreement or, at the very least, deep consideration. When you base your arguments on solid reasoning, free from logical fallacies, you significantly increase your persuasive power. Additionally, using clear and structured logic makes it easier for others to follow and support your reasoning, thereby increasing your influence in the discussion. What role does emotional intelligence play in achieving dominance in arguments? Stoic persuasion requires a keen understanding of both your emotions and those of your interlocutors. By managing your emotional responses and empathetically engaging with others, you can more effectively tailor your arguments to resonate with their values and beliefs. This emotional attunement allows you to diffuse potential resistance and foster an environment conducive to acceptance of your ideas. It also enables you to detect and adapt to the emotional undercurrents of the debate, leveraging them to reinforce your argumentative impact. How does strategic adaptability contribute to persuasive dominance? In Stoic practice, adaptability is the ability to adjust your strategies based on the dynamics of the argument and the specific characteristics of your audience. This means being prepared to shift your approach or even your position, within reason, to align more closely with the audience's expectations and biases, thereby increasing the persuasiveness of your argument. Effective adaptability requires a deep understanding of the philosophical and practical aspects of your argument, as well as the flexibility to implement changes seamlessly and convincingly. What rhetorical techniques can enhance your persuasive dominance? Stoics appreciate the power of rhetoric in shaping opinions and influencing debates. Techniques such as ethos, pathos, and logos are vital tools in your persuasive arsenal. Ethos establishes your credibility, pathos appeals to the emotions, and logos relies on logical arguments. When used judiciously, these techniques can significantly amplify your persuasive effectiveness, ensuring that your arguments not only appeal to reason, but also move your audience emotionally and ethically. Why merely argue when you can persuade with dominance and integrity? Embracing the Stoic approach to persuasive dominance allows you to lead arguments with a compelling mixture of logical rigor, ethical persuasion, and emotional insight. This comprehensive strategy ensures that you are not just heard, but also followed, respected, and valued as a thinker and influencer. Through Stoic persuasion, you achieve not just victory in arguments, but also advance the art of discourse to higher levels of intellectual and ethical engagement. Lesson 7. The Stoic Command. Mastering the art of dominating arguments. How can one ensure dominance in an argument without resorting to aggression or manipulation? Stoicism offers a nuanced approach to mastering debates by emphasizing composure, insight, and principled reasoning. This lesson explores how adopting Stoic virtues can transform you into a dominant force in any argumentative setting. By leveraging the calm, rational, and strategic elements of Stoic philosophy, you can command respect and direct the flow of discussions to favorable outcomes, ensuring that your points are not only heard, but also respected and acted upon. Why is composure considered a critical element in dominating arguments? In Stoic philosophy, maintaining one's composure under pressure is seen as a sign of strength and control. When you remain composed, you demonstrate mastery over your emotions, which often translates to mastery over the situation. Composure prevents you from making rash decisions or statements that could undermine your position. It also intimidates and destabilizes your opponent, who may expect emotional reactions and be unprepared to deal with calm, measured responses. By staying calm, You keep the upper hand and ensure that the argument progresses on your terms. How does Stoic insight contribute to dominating discussions? Insight, in the Stoic context, involves a deep understanding of the nature of things, including the motivations and beliefs of your opponents. When you understand where others are coming from, you can tailor your arguments to directly address their concerns and counter their points more effectively. This kind of insight allows you to anticipate arguments and prepare convincing counterpoints, thereby maintaining a dominant position. Stoic insight also involves recognizing the weaknesses in your own position and fortifying them in advance, which prevents your opponents from exploiting them. What strategic uses of Stoic principles can help dominate an argument? Stoicism teaches that wisdom lies in choosing your battles wisely and speaking only when it will be most effective. In practice, this means knowing when to advance your points and when to let your opponents exhaust themselves with weaker arguments. Using principles such as the economy of effort and the strategic retreat can confuse and fatigue your opponents, making it easier for you to dominate the later stages of a discussion. Additionally, employing the Stoic practice of questioning underlying assumptions can dismantle an opponent's argument from the foundation up, further asserting your dominance. How can one establish logical dominance in an argument? Logical dominance involves structuring your arguments in such a way that they are both indisputable and forceful. This requires not only a strong grasp of logic and rhetoric, but also the ability to communicate complex ideas simply and convincingly. A Stoic achieves this by building arguments that are coherent, concise, and comprehensive, leaving little room for rebuttal. Using analogies, metaphors, and well-timed rhetorical questions can enhance your logical structure, making your arguments more persuasive and difficult to oppose. What is the role of timing in dominating arguments? Timing can be as critical as the content of your arguments. Stoics understand that the right moment can amplify the impact of what you say, making timing an essential tool for argument dominance. This involves not only choosing the right time to present your strongest points, but also knowing when to listen and gather information. Effective timing can also include pausing before responding to give weight to your words, or speeding up your delivery to overwhelm an opponent's weaker argument, controlling the pace and momentum of the debate. Why merely participate in arguments when you can command them? Dominating arguments with Stoic techniques is about more than just winning. It's about elevating the quality of the discourse and ensuring that your ideas prevail in a respectful and impactful manner. The use of composure, insight, strategic principles, logical structuring, and timing not only makes you a formidable debater, but also a wise one. Through the disciplined application of these Stoic strategies, you can navigate any argument with confidence and precision, ensuring that your points are not only acknowledged, but also embraced. Lesson 8. The Stoic Strategy: Establishing Dominance in Arguments Through Precision and Patience. Arguments are not just about proving a point, but about demonstrating mastery over the discourse. How can we dominate an argument not just effectively, but ethically? Stoicism provides us with a methodical approach that emphasizes precision in language and patience in timing. This lesson explores how adopting Stoic strategies can turn you into a formidable opponent in any argument, ensuring that you not only make your point clearly, but also command respect and attention from others. A well-articulated argument is the backbone of effective persuasion. Stoics advocate for a meticulous choice of words and structuring of arguments to ensure clarity and impact. Precision involves carefully selecting each word and phrase to construct an argument that is both logical and compelling. This meticulousness prevents misunderstandings and reduces the chances of your words being twisted or misinterpreted by your opponent. Each point made with precision hits with greater force, dismantling opposing views with surgical accuracy. How does patience amplify your ability to dominate in arguments? Stoicism teaches that patience is not merely a virtue, but a strategic tool in debates. By remaining patient, you allow your opponents to reveal more about their positions, weaknesses, and emotional states. This information is crucial in crafting responses that are not only reactive, but proactive, anticipating and countering opposing arguments even before they are fully articulated. Patience also demonstrates control, a key element in maintaining dominance in any discussion. It shows you are unfazed by emotional tactics and are dictating the pace of the conversation. What role does logical consistency play in asserting dominance in an argument? Consistency is the hallmark of a strong argument. Stoicism emphasizes the need for logical integrity in your statements. Arguments that are logically sound are harder to refute and more likely to influence an audience. Inconsistencies, on the other hand, can quickly undermine your credibility. By ensuring that your points build on one another in a coherent and logical manner, you fortify your position against attacks and capture the rational high ground in any debate. How can addressing counterarguments proactively help you dominate a discussion? One of the most effective ways to maintain the upper hand in an argument is to anticipate and address counterarguments before they are even made. This proactive approach not only showcases your deep understanding of the subject, but also positions you as thoughtful and thorough. It leaves little room for your opponents to maneuver and forces them to respond to your framework, effectively keeping you in control of the argument's direction and scope. Why is maintaining emotional equilibrium essential for dominating in arguments? Stoicism teaches the importance of keeping a calm and composed demeanor, regardless of the provocations or intensity of the debate. Emotional reactions can cloud judgment and weaken your argumentative effectiveness. By staying emotionally balanced, you project confidence and authority, compelling others to take your arguments more seriously. This equilibrium also prevents you from making hasty decisions or statements that could be exploited by your opponent. Why settle for participating in arguments when you can dominate them with Stoic finesse? Mastering the art of argumentation through Stoic strategies such as precision, patience, logical consistency, proactive counterarguments, and emotional control sets you apart as a powerful communicator and thinker. These techniques not only enhance your ability to win arguments, but also reflect a deeper philosophical mastery that resonates with both Stoic principles and contemporary standards of debate. By integrating these practices, you prepare yourself to face any argumentative challenge with confidence and poise, ready to emerge not just as a participant, but as a dominator. Lesson 9. Mastering the dynamics of influence and respect in arguments. How do you not only dominate in arguments, but also command respect from all participants? Stoicism teaches us that true command in discussions comes from a blend of eloquence, integrity, and strategic insight. This lesson explores how to master the dynamics of arguments by employing Stoic principles that ensure you not only win debates, but also earn the admiration and respect of others. By understanding and practicing these principles, you can transform every argumentative encounter into a demonstration of your intellectual and ethical leadership. What makes Stoic eloquence different, and how does it contribute to dominating arguments? Stoic eloquence is about more than just choosing the right words. It involves communicating with purpose, clarity, and moral conviction. It requires you to articulate your thoughts in a way that is not only persuasive, but also principled. This form of eloquence makes your arguments compelling and difficult to refute because they resonate with a deeper sense of truth and integrity. When you speak not only to the point, but also from the heart, you engage both the minds and the values of your audience, which naturally elevates your position in any discussion. How does integrity play a crucial role in commanding respect in arguments? Integrity, according to Stoic philosophy, involves consistency between your words and your actions, as well as a commitment to truth. When you argue with integrity, you ensure that your arguments are not only logically sound, but also ethically grounded. This consistency fosters trust and respect from others, as they recognize your commitment to fairness and truth. By maintaining integrity, you set a standard for the discussion, leading by example and encouraging others to elevate their own discourse. What is strategic insight in the context of Stoic argumentation, and how does it help you dominate discussions? Strategic insight involves understanding the deeper implications of the arguments presented and foreseeing potential outcomes and responses. This foresight allows you to steer discussions in directions that favor your objectives. By anticipating counter-arguments and preparing cogent responses, you remain several steps ahead of your opponents. which not only demonstrates your mastery of the subject, but also your ability to think critically and extensively about complex issues. How does emotional control affect your ability to command respect and dominate arguments? Stoicism teaches the importance of mastering your emotions, especially in heated discussions. By remaining calm and composed, you project confidence and authority, which naturally draws respect from others. Emotional control also prevents you from making impassioned mistakes or conceding points in the heat of the moment. Instead, it allows you to respond with calculated precision, turning potential weaknesses into strengths and maintaining the upper hand throughout the argument. What is persuasive listening, and how does it enhance your command in arguments? Persuasive listening is an active Stoic practice where you listen not only to understand, but also to find opportunities to strengthen your own position. By truly hearing and addressing the concerns and arguments of others, you validate their perspectives, which can disarm them and make them more receptive to your views. This approach not only makes you a formidable opponent but also a respected one, as it shows that you value others' input and are not merely interested in promoting your own ideas. Why settle for mere participation when you can steer and refine the course of intellectual engagements? Mastering the art of argument through Stoic principles not only enhances your ability to dominate discussions, but also ensures that you command respect and foster an atmosphere of mutual respect and integrity. The Stoic command in arguments is characterized by eloquence, foresight, emotional intelligence, and persuasive listening, all grounded in a profound commitment to ethical discourse. By embodying these qualities, you position yourself as a leader in any argumentative setting, respected not only for your ideas but for the way you present and defend them. Lesson 10. The Stoic Synthesis. Integrating principles for masterful argumentation and lasting influence. How can we bring together all the Stoic lessons to not only dominate, but also elevate our approach to arguments? This final lesson encapsulates the essence of Stoic philosophy as it applies to argumentation, synthesizing the strategies discussed in previous lessons into a cohesive, powerful approach. By embracing these principles holistically, you can transcend typical argumentative tactics, influencing not just the outcomes of individual arguments, but also shaping the broader discourse in a profound, lasting way. This synthesis is about embodying the Stoic ideals of wisdom, courage, justice, and moderation in every interaction. Why is the integration of Stoic virtues crucial for masterful argumentation? Stoic philosophy teaches that true mastery in argumentation comes from the balanced application of virtues. Wisdom guides you to choose your battles and craft your arguments with insight and foresight. Courage allows you to assert your views confidently and face opposition without fear. Justice ensures that your arguments are fair and considerate, promoting equity and understanding. Moderation helps regulate your emotional responses, maintaining focus on rational discourse. Together, these virtues create a harmonious approach that not only dominates arguments, but also commands respect and admiration. How does a long-term strategic vision affect your argumentative approach? Stoics advocate for seeing beyond the immediate confrontation and understanding the broader implications of your arguments. This perspective involves considering how your argumentative strategies today will impact your relationships, reputation, and personal growth tomorrow. By adopting a long-term vision, you ensure that your approach to arguments builds towards a consistent, respected persona that can influence not just specific debates, but also the wider philosophical or professional landscape over time. What role does consistency between practice and precept play in masterful argumentation? Consistency in embodying Stoic principles not only in arguments but also in daily life reinforces your credibility and moral authority. When people see that you live according to the same virtues you advocate, your arguments gain greater persuasive power. This consistency fosters trust and reliability, making you a beacon of stability and integrity in discussions. It also shields you against criticisms of hypocrisy, strengthening your position in both current and future debates. How can Stoic argumentation help cultivate and enhance relationships? Stoicism doesn't view arguments as mere battles to be won. It sees them as opportunities to deepen understanding and mutual respect. By approaching arguments with the intent to listen, understand, and connect, you transform potential conflicts into moments of bonding and insight. This approach not only diffuses hostility, but also builds alliances and networks that can provide support and opportunities in other areas of life. Such relationships are based on respect for your intellectual capabilities and your ethical conduct. Why is reflection an essential component after arguments? Stoic philosophy values reflection as a tool for continuous personal and intellectual growth. After each argument, taking the time to reflect on your performance, the strategies used, and the outcomes achieved can provide invaluable insights. This practice allows you to identify areas for improvement, consolidate strengths, and develop a deeper understanding of both your own argumentative style and that of others. Reflection ensures that each argument, regardless of its immediate outcome, contributes to your overarching development as a Stoic philosopher and masterful arguer. Why settle for ordinary when you can achieve extraordinary? This final lesson brings our exploration of Stoic argumentation full circle, emphasizing a comprehensive approach that integrates ethical persuasion, strategic insight, and personal integrity. By fully embracing and applying the Stoic principles discussed throughout these lessons, you position yourself not just as a participant in arguments, but as a leader in shaping thoughtful, respectful, and impactful discourse. Let these lessons not merely guide your arguments, but also inspire your journey towards becoming a paragon of Stoic virtue and argumentative prowess. Thank you for joining us today as we explored Stoic ways to dominate rude people and win arguments with grace. Remember, the Stoics teach us that real power doesn't come from shouting louder or being right. It comes from staying calm, collected, and true to your values. Every time you choose not to react to rudeness, you're practicing the art of self-control and turning conflicts into opportunities for growth. Whether it's pausing before responding, choosing silence over shouting, or letting go of the need to win, these Stoic strategies give you the upper hand in any confrontation. The more you practice, the easier it becomes to turn every argument into a moment of inner victory and strength. So, which Stoic strategy will you use the next time you face a rude person or an argument? Will you stay silent, choose to listen, or focus on your own peace instead of engaging? Drop a comment below. I'd love to hear your thoughts and how these Stoic techniques are helping you dominate your interactions. If you found value in today's video, please give it a thumbs up, share it with someone who's dealing with difficult people, and subscribe to our channel, Stoic Wisdom GB. Your support helps us continue to bring you Stoic insights that empower you to navigate life with calm and confidence. Keep practicing, stay composed, and remember, dominating rude people isn't about winning against them. It's about winning within yourself. Until next time, stay strong, stay Stoic, and keep turning every challenge into a lesson in mastery. See you in the next video.